to Salesforce Development Lesson 16. Today we're going to be taking a little bit of a break from our usual videos, and we're going to be talking about permissions and deployment. And what kind of prompted this for me is my Scratch org that I've been working out of expired. So when that happens, everything goes away, and if you haven't saved anything to your project like we've been saving throughout these lessons, you will lose everything. So that's why it's important to make sure you keep doing that SF project retrieve start to keep retrieving all that. Now, so what did I end up doing? What I ended up doing, a couple things. I had to create a new Scratch org. Okay, so how did I do that? What I did is, in your project, there's a scripts directory. So if you go into the scripts directory, I created a bash directory because I'm on a Mac. If you're on Windows, you can probably create a either a PowerShell directory or a batch file directory, batch or something. However you do your automation. But basically, what I did is I created a bash script that has my SF command here, and this is the command to create your Scratch org. So basically, it's the same one I used to create my my Scratch org. I gave it an alias of YouTube because it's my YouTube video, and I set it as default, so it sets the project default org automatically for you. And then I also tell it to, the longest you can go is 30 days, so I give it the max duration 30 days, so it'll be 30 days till the next expiration. And the final thing is I give it a definition file, because I had to update my definition file up here. And what I had to do, when you create your project, it automatically creates this definition file. But what I want to do is I want to enable personal accounts by default, because I'm using personal accounts, so I want to make sure that it enables it by default so that when I do my deployment, there are no issues because it doesn't have person accounts enabled. So we have person accounts enabled, so that's good, and that's what happened there. So then that's our definition file, and that's it. So I went ahead and ran the command and created the Scratch org, as you can see up here. Oh, sorry, it was all the way up here. All right, so I created the Scratch org. So this is what it looks like to create the Scratch org. Gives your username, your alias here, and all that. Okay, next thing I tried to do is I went and listed my org to make sure it created it, and lo and behold, here's my new Scratch org. It's active, and now it's given me 30 days. So I have 30 days to use it, but I'll be saving all my stuff regularly, so I shouldn't lose any of my configuration. All right. So the next thing I tried to do is I tried to do a deploy to redeploy everything, but I actually got an error, and the error was the app menu app switcher. You can't deploy. It's weird because it allows you to retrieve the app switcher definition, but it doesn't allow you to redeploy it. So what you have to do is you have to set the force ignore file to ignore that app menu, so it doesn't deploy anything in the app menu. It doesn't retrieve anything in the app menu either. So it's this .force ignore file that you see here. So if I click on that, what I did is I add line 14 ** *app menus, and that will ignore, when I go to retrieve, it will ignore that app menu directory on retrieval and deployment. So once I did that, I started it again. Everything succeeded, and now you can see everything that got deployed. So basically everything in my project got deployed, and we should be good. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and close my force ignore file, and I'm going to go back to my org. So a couple things first that I noticed is when I went over to view all, I noticed I can't see my applications anymore. And the reason for that is before, when I was creating my applications, it automatically added the permissions to my my profile. But when it created the new org, those permissions are no longer there. So when you create the org, it creates your profile, but when you deploy, it doesn't automatically add the permissions to the system admin profile. So, and we generally don't want to work with profiles, so this is where we're going to start talking about permission sets. Now, permission sets are a way of giving a user permissions based on their role. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And these are the default roles that are here. But what we want to do is we want to actually go ahead and use the roles. And what I'm going to do before I do that is I'm going to go to the App Manager. And if you remember, we have two apps. We have the Flight Management app and we have the Customer Service app. So we're going to create permission sets that are analogous to the personas that use each one. If you remember, the Flight Management app is used by the Flight Manager persona. So we're going to go ahead and do a new, and we're going to call this the Flight Manager permission set. Permission set assigned to the Flight Manager. Okay. We're not going to check the session activate and the license. We're not going to check that. We'll allow anybody to, with any license, to get assigned this. So we're going to hit save. And now we have to start assigning different apps and object settings to it. So what we want to do is we want to go ahead and click assigned, and we're going to edit. Oh, this is connected apps. So let's go back here because I don't want connect. I just want app. Sorry, it's this first one. And we'll do edit, and now we have all our apps and the Flight Management app. That's the one we want to enable here. All right, so we have the Flight Management app. So the next step is we need to go to, now that we have the Flight Management app, I want to go to my user. So if I go to users, and the user is the user that I'm logged in as. So you can always tell if you click your profile up here, it tells you your username. So you can see I'm using the username. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on user. And if I scroll all the way down, this is where you assign the permission set assignments. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look for my Flight Manager permission set, save it. All right, so now I have my Flight Manager permission set assigned. And now if I go back here, well, one thing I want to do then, do setup again, but this time, let's see if we can see the Flight Management app. There we go. Now we have the Flight Management app. So if I click on that, and now you'll notice I have the Flight Management app, but there are no tabs. So the thing is, I have to give permissions to the tabs to see them. So again, we have to go to the permission set, go back to the overview, and tabs are assigned under the object settings. So if you remember, for Flight Management, we have airport. So I'm going to click in the airport. And you notice it has nothing. So we're going to have to give it permissions for everything. So what we want to do is we want to make it visible, and we want read. Basically, want to give it everything. View all records, modify all records. We want to give it everything with no restrictions. View all fields too. Once we do view all fields, and then we can click that, edit everything. Want to get full permissions to the airport. So that's good. We'll save that. All right, and then the other thing, so now we have the airport. So now we can even go here and test it, do a refresh, and now you can see our airport. Now the problem is we're gonna have to re-import our airport because we have no airports now. But we can do that later off camera. All right, so airports was one, and if you remember the other objects that we had. And again, a quick way to get to objects, you can click this drop down and then you can go ahead and find the next object. And if you remember, we had airports with flights, and then we have planes. So we're gonna do this, pretty much perform the same thing with planes. So here we go, we have planes, and again, we're just gonna edit, and we're just gonna get permissions for everything. Permissions for planes. All right, we have planes. We need the plane seats. So again, we'll take a look. Plane seats. Edit. All right, we have plane seats. Yeah, we're basically given everything. And then the next thing is the flight. Edit, visible, give it everything, give it all access to all the fields, and then we need flight seats. Let's see, flight seats here, edit, and again we just keep clicking through everything here, and we hit save. All right, so I think we're in pretty good shape here. So now if we go back to our flight management app and I do a refresh, I should see all my tabs now, which I do. But now we have no planes or flights or anything else, so we're gonna have to rebuild that. But that shouldn't be too difficult to do. I just have to import that airports file again, and then reconstruct my planes and flights. Again, we'll do that off camera, so it'll be ready for the next video. So we're there. The next step now is we've done our flight management. Now the next thing we have to do is we have to go ahead and also make sure that we have access to the other app, which is the customer service app. So we're done with our flight management permission set. So let's go ahead and create our customer service. See, permissions for the customer service persona. All right, then save that. And now, again, the assigned apps. I want to make sure we find customer service. There, save it. And then, let's see, let's go back to the overview because now we have to do the object settings. Yeah, if you remember for customer service, let's see, we had, oh yeah, here we go. We want to do accounts because we're using person accounts, so we need to give access to the customer record type. So we need customer, person account, and business account. We're not gonna touch those, but we definitely need the customer record type. And then finally, we're just gonna give it everything over here. Read and edit access to accounts. The other thing you're going to need to give it access to is the customer object, because a person account is a combination of customer and account. So we need to find the contacts. Let's see if we can find contact. Oh, contacts, there we go. All right, and then again, we're gonna go through the same process. Just go ahead and enable everything. Read access, edit access, save. All right, so we have our accounts and contacts, and now what's left is reservations. So let's go ahead and see if we can find the reservations. There you go. We have reservation here. We're gonna edit. Gonna go ahead and make everything visible. Again, we're gonna give it everything on reservation. And the final thing we have is reservation item. All right, again, we're gonna edit this, make sure we check everything off and save. Okay, so now we should be in pretty good shape there. I'm gonna go back to my user because now I have to add the permission set because I do not have access still to that set. I can again refresh the screen and see if I have access, and I do not have access yet. So I have to go here, give myself the customer service permission, and now hopefully if I refresh this, should see customer service pop up. Yep, and here you go. Here you have my customer service app and my flight management. So if I switch over to customer service, I see I have accounts and I have reservations. So the only thing is I have to do is I have to go through and build that up again. Build the customer service and the reservation account, and then I should be good. All right, so I think that's it for that. So the last thing I'm gonna go ahead and let's go to this one. There we go. Let's go back here and we're gonna go ahead and look at some things here. So the first thing we want to do is we want to do an SF project. Oh, let me clear my screen first. And do SF project, retrieve, preview. Okay, we want to see what we're pulling in. So we're pulling in these two permission sets. Again, we're not upgrading our admin profile because we really just care about these permission sets. So let's go ahead and we'll do a start to retrieve them. Okay, if you see up here now in our permission sets, we have these two permission sets here set up. So that looks good. All right, so I think that covers everything I wanted to show you for this video. So we saw how to do deployment, we saw how to do permission sets and assign them to your user, and also how to recreate your scratch org when it times out after 30 days. All right, so again, if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe it so that others can hear about it, and until next time, see you later.